Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn Ullum.
And welcome to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. It's our basketball edition. We're being taped here on Tuesday morning, and Coach Ullum, as you can see, isn't with us here today. He's enjoying a well-deserved vacation on the beaches in Mexico, but we're happy to welcome head women's basketball coach Kyle Cooper. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us. Quickly look back at last week's games. Got off to a good start, 80-57 win over Davis and Elkins. Completed a season sweep of the Senators. What were some of your takeaways from that game?
Yeah, I thought we played pretty well overall. I mean, you look at the possessions we were able to stack, the runs we were able to make, the way things were clicking, especially for the majority of the second half and early on when we got out to that lead and so on. And, I think that's a testament to what we've been doing, and that's getting better. And it was nice to see them rewarded with not only a win, but a win of that caliber. It was nice to see some other people get in the game and get in the mix there, which is obviously well-deserved. But big win for us, obviously, and any time that we can sweep the games in a season, that's obviously a big deal when it comes to seeding and so on.
Okay, then after that, it's back on the MEC road. You go to Buchanan, much improved West Virginia Wesleyan team. First game you played them, went to overtime here at the buzzer. You guys pulled it out, I think, 78-72, and kind of deja vu all over again for you. Went out there, good first half. Wesleyan fought back as they would. Fourth quarter, back and forth. It went into overtime, then they had a couple shots late and pulled it out, but good effort. What were your thoughts coming back home on the bus there?
I thought a lot of it was self-inflicted, honestly. When you look back at the film and so on, I thought we missed some opportunities offensively to stack some really good possessions and just weren't able to do so. And the same thing happened defensively. I thought we were really, really inconsistent at times with our collective effort. It wasn't necessarily that one person wasn't trying here, one person wasn't consistent here. It was more, could we put it together holistically? And they play a brand of basketball that grinds you out. They try to pick on matchups. Everybody's got to be dialed in, and everyone's got to realize that they've got to protect each other, and we weren't consistent enough in that. And yet found ourselves up in multiple points of the game, 10 at the half, 7 twice in the last couple minutes of the third quarter before they make that run going into the fourth and make it really interesting. And you have to give them credit as well. They hit some tough shots. They had some players, hit some mid-range pull-ups, hit some tough twos, as we would call them, in crucial moments. But I just thought overall way too much self-inflicted moments for us, and in turn we didn't get the outcome that we wanted there.
Okay, before we take a look at the week ahead, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about some of your players who've really been putting up some pretty impressive numbers so far this season. I made a list here, and right now we're looking at Corinne Thomas leading the nation in three-point field goals. Carly McCutcheon's up. I think she's third among active NCAA players in three-point field goals per game, and also top 10 career three-point field goals. Bailey Smith has been first or second in three-point field goal percentage for most of the season, and now Jenna Ricardo has just turned into a double-double machine. Could you just talk about some of your individuals and what that says to you about your team, your roster, and the season going forward?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that gets overshadowed with the lack of team success right now, and when you look at the scoreboards, and that's obviously frustrating as a coach because you know how hard our team in general is working, but when you look at those four individuals, just the consistency of what they've been doing. And I think you look at Bailey's progression back from an injury, and it took a little bit of time for it to click, but now it's clicking. And you look at the way she's played, she's playing very consistently on the offensive end in her production, and she's doing a lot of good overall. When you look at Jenna, could you say anything's better for the game of basketball than what Jenna's doing right now?
Yes.
You got a player that has had an inconsistent role her entire career here. You've got a senior now that has stepped up and owned a role and performed at a high level now doing it, and has turned in, as you said, a double-double machine. Mm-hmm. She's reaping the benefits of doing the things the way that we preach you need to do them. So really proud of Jenna and what she's been able to accomplish, and I know she's going to finish this thing strong for us. And then you look at Carr. Carr's the epitome of consistency when it comes to who she is as a person, what she brings to our team from a consistency standpoint, not just when it comes to box scores, but when it comes to her personality. Her being there as someone you can lean into as a coach, as a teammate, and so on. And it's special to see her now getting rewarded with a lot of of the individual success. I mean, she has had some serious games as of late, and you guys have referenced it on the air. But her ability to get downhill, she's been very consistent in that, as beyond just shooting the basketball, which is crucial for us. So again, really proud of her. And then you flip the script to, Corinne, who is having an all-conference, all-player of the year caliber year, and that cannot be argued other than the fact we're not stacking enough wins right now. But, you guys referenced that she's our Swiss Army knife, and there's probably no better way to describe it because she checks all the boxes. And I think the biggest thing with Corinne for me is that you look at the consistency of her play on the court, and she has been our most consistent player when it comes to not only production, but stacking things the right way and checking a lot of the boxes, not just the scoring box that a lot of people see in the shooting. And she's doing it in a way that's been consistent from start to finish this year. And I'm just hoping that we can put some wins together to accompany these individual accolades that she's experiencing, because she deserves that. Carr deserves it. Jenna deserves it. Bay deserves it. Our entire program deserves it. And I couldn't be more proud. And, one last thing on Corinne, we promoted that she became a recipient of a record that only Liz Flowers held to date. That's pretty elite company.
Yes.
When you talk about what Corinne's been able to do in her career, it's special, and couldn't be happier for her, other than the fact that we need to continue to check some boxes and send her out the right way. Yes. So I think we have the ability to do that. Those four have been anchoring us for sure, and we're getting some support at different times from different people, which has been great. Need them to continue to be consistent and check all the boxes as we try to put this thing together down the stretch.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Coach. And that's a great insight to some of the, we tend to forget as fans that there are people inside the uniforms. Yes. There are people inside those jerseys.
Yes, and our people are elite. Our people are elite, and that's the part that is hard as a coach is you look at these young players and you look at the leadership of some of them, starting with, the Corinnes and the Carleys, as far as what you see on the court, and even players that aren't out there necessarily for us. And we forget that it is bigger than scoreboards, as much as we all want the ultimate outcome of winning basketball games.
So, okay, well, and talking about opportunities, pretty challenging week ahead for you guys. Again, some notes here. You start with that trip to Frostburg State on Wednesday. Now, you beat Frostburg a month ago home. Really good win. But, you're going back over there. They're only a game out of first place in the league. They've won 6 of their last 8. And 3 of those wins are like the traditional big 3. They beat Fairmont. They beat Glenville. They beat Charleston. And what do you have to do? We talked about how great sweeps are in this conference. Yeah. What do you have to do to get back on the bus, come home from Maryland with a win tomorrow?
I think we've got to be really consistent on the defensive end with our effort. I think we have to make sure that they have to earn things, that we're consistent in executing our game plan with that stuff, so that we can rebound the basketball, force them into tough shots. I mean, you've got Emily Weekly, who I believe is the nation's leading scorer still, and she is playing at a high level. But overall, they're an efficient basketball team. They stay in their lanes, they own their roles, and they're a team that doesn't beat themselves, and that's a testament to Jenna Eckleberry leading them, because they have been one of the few teams in our league that has not had a lot of self-inflicted wounds, that in turn has them sitting in a position where a good week could lead them to springboard themselves potentially even to a tie for first. Right. So, it's a tremendous opportunity for us to go show, though, who we are, what we're capable of. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I'll put us up against anybody when we're playing well, when we're being consistent, and the connectivity of our team is there. So we need all those boxes checked to go, because this is going to be a really tough road game.
Yes. And last, but certainly not least, you come back home Saturday after kind of a long road trip, and you take on first place Fairmont State. And always a big game when the Falcons come to town, but even better, we're going to have some special guests here on Saturday, aren't we?
Yeah, and obviously it's a big game for us, and we're focused right now on simply the next whatever it is, 36 hours, trying to get that win in Maryland against Frostburg. But that's a big game for us. You got the second leading scorer in the conference, the only 2 players ahead of Corinne, I believe, in scoring. We're going against them this week, and they're a tough matchup in a lot of ways beyond just Alyssa D'Angelo. But circling the bigger picture, as we try to always keep at the front of this program, we are recognizing the 1997 championship team, which is the original championship team here at West Liberty on the women's side. Coach Ullum obviously was at the helm, and that was kind of the start of his success and the 30 years of success he had as the leader of this program. But there's some really special individuals on that team, no different than we've got special ones on this team, and that's a consistent testament to what we do here on the Hilltop and what we've done for a long time. But it'll be great to get that crew here to recognize them, to present them with some championship rings that were much deserved a while ago. But it'll be awesome to make those connections and get them all here together.
Absolutely. And, well, obviously, definitely a big week ahead. Saturday should be extremely special. I was still at the paper when that team won that conference championship down at the old Charleston Civic Center. And remember Joanna Burnaby hitting the game-winning three-pointer, the big dog pile at the end, and the celebration after it. And it was just one of the favorite games I had to cover during my time at the paper. So, well, that wraps up part one of today's Inside Hilltopper Athletics. We'll be right back for part two with head men's basketball coach Ben Hallett.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Kyle Cooper. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn Ullum.
And welcome back to part two of today's Inside Hilltopper Athletics. Coach Ullum, as we said, isn't with us this week. He's somewhere on a Mexican beach enjoying a vacation, but no time off for the guy sitting to my right here. Head coach Ben Hallett, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on here, Don.
Yeah, and coming off a week with two pretty lopsided wins for the Hilltoppers, opened up 95-75 win against a good Davis-Nelkins team. Fairly tight first half against the Senators, but your guys just seemed just to pour it on in the second half. Just broke the game wide open. You led by as many as 32 points in the second half. Just, what was the key for that turnaround?
Yeah, and going back to the first half, I actually thought we were playing well, and shots just weren't falling for us, and we were getting clean looks. And second half, it's funny what making shots can do for a team. We started making some threes and started turning them over there and getting some easy stuff at the rim, and that was an important game for us. We were coming off 2 losses to State and Charleston, and really needed to play well against those guys. And I know some people were watching the first half thinking, what's wrong with West Liberty? But there was nothing wrong. I was actually really pleased with the way we played. I thought we played hard. And, again, we were out with, our spark plug and Dante Spadafora. He was out. And obviously Ben Sarson's still out. So we were out, 2 key players. But thought we played well and came away with a good win.
Yeah. And then after that, back on the road Saturday against the West Virginia Wesleyan team that, frankly, has been struggling a little bit this year. But basically, you just went out there and you took care of business. You're up 10-0, like 90 seconds into the game. You're up by 27 at the half. In control the whole way, ended up 101-66. Some takeaways from Saturday afternoon.
I liked our approach to the game, and we talked about, don't look at their record, don't look what we did, the first time we played them. Let's just go out there and try to dominate from the tip to the end buzzer. And thought we did that. I thought, our guys were locked in. I thought we had a good shoot around. I thought before the game our guys seemed excited to play. And like you said, just went out there and took care of business and forced them into some early turnovers. And if you look at the box score at the end of the first half, we were 10 of 16 from the three-point line. We were shooting the ball at a high level and getting great looks, and it carried over to the second half and ran away there with a win. Yeah,
well, like you say, winning is hard, but it's much easier when the shots fall.
Yeah, very much so.
And, just to shift gears a little bit, quick question before we'll take a look into this coming week's games. Only 3 weeks away from heading to Wheeling to the MEC tournament. And it's been a long season. You guys have been going at it hammer and tongs since October. When you get to this stretch of the season, do you make any late season adjustments like practice or game prep to try to take a little bit of the physical stress off the bodies? Or
Yeah, I think especially for us and the way we play, I think you got to be really careful in terms of what you do in practice, and kind of learned this the hard way. My first year, again, I was 30 years old and still thought that I could play with these guys, and we practiced one way and one way only the entire season. I think I think we ran some guys' legs in the ground there, as I've been told by Dan Monroe. So I ran his legs into the ground, and so kind of learned the hard way. And for us right now, it's about feeling good. It's about feeling good. We're not really going to change our style of play for anybody. We're going to. Everyone knows we're going to press and try to press the entire game. So for us, it's a matter of keeping our rhythm with shooting and stretching and getting in the training room. So for right now, our practices are very basic, and maybe, we've kind of got a good routine of play Saturday, off Sunday, practice Monday, Tuesday, play Wednesday, lift Thursday, practice Friday, play Saturday. So it's a really good routine that we're in right now, and I think for the most part our guys are relatively healthy, minus one or two, and it's working for us so far.
Okay. Well, and again, now we look at this week coming up, and as we said, coming down the stretch, Mountain East Conference, another road game Wednesday, head to Frostburg State, and then finally get to come back home, friendly confines of the SRC. Huge game against the Fairmont State team that is fresh off a big win over West Virginia State and probably squarely on that tournament bubble right now. So not just conference implications, regional implications. And the ASRC is going to be jumping for that one, but what can you tell us about these two matchups with Frostburg first and then Fairmont?
Yeah, same approach. After we lost 2 games in a row with Charleston and State, talked with the team, and we're really just going to focus on the next game. And
Yes.
I haven't, talked region with our guys. I haven't talked conference with our guys since those 2 losses, and we're really just trying to focus on the task at hand, and that's Frostburg State right now. And same thing, it's an uncomfortable game because our guys aren't stupid. They see the wins, losses. Okay, they see what we did to them the first time we played them, and I was their age once too. I think sometimes guys think they can just show up and win, and it certainly doesn't work that way. You have to play a certain way, and for us, you have to play a certain level of intensity, and it's going to be a challenge. You're on the road. Some guys are just learning how to travel. Freshmen are still kind of learning how to travel and play, and it's a different type of floor at Frostburg. It's not a wood floor, so you put all this stuff in there, and I'm sure they're going to have biggest game of the year at home for them. They're going to have a good crowd there. They're going to be pumped up for the game. So we got to be ready to play. And we don't have the luxury to not play well or take our foot off the gas pedal. We got to be ready to play on Wednesday. And I think it's a perfect example of a trap game. I think this is a trap game, Wednesday. And we talked about this as a team. And everyone's talking about Saturday's game with Fairmont. But we got a game Wednesday. We got to take care of business.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's just shift gears just a touch here. And I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but during Saturday's game at Wesleyan, Zach Rosil, the 50-year kid, he became the 56th 1,000-point scorer in West Liberty history. That's almost 100 years of basketball. Yours is one of the names on that list, by the way, as you well know, along with 55 others. And I went through and I counted up the guys that were on that list and the years that crazy. You coached or played with about half of them. I think it was 27 guys.
Wow.
And also, what's it been like to be part of this West Liberty scoring tradition here over the past couple decades?
Yeah, it's fun. And we've got kind of a culture here and a tradition here where we attract certain type of players. And the cool thing is these guys are all, exceptional basketball players, but all those guys on that list that I know are all just really nice people. They're nice people. I still talk to many of them, if not all of them, and obviously for Zach and congratulations to him. We don't make a big deal about that stuff here at West Liberty. Number one, because a lot of people achieve that goal because of our style of play and the amount of points we score. But I think these guys are into the bigger picture of things and the whole team aspect. We can still win a conference championship. We can still play in the regional tournament. So right now, I'm hoping that's what's on their mind. But obviously, really happy for Zach, and he's put a lot of hard work in. And this is a guy that's second all time in the state of Ohio in scoring. That filled it up in high school with 3,000 points or whatever it was. And again, but it's a testament to him and all the hard work he's put in, and hopefully he's got a lot more points in him.
Yeah, well, thanks, Coach, and good luck to you this week. Another big week for the Hilltoppers on the basketball court. That wraps up another edition of Inside Hilltopper Athletics. For Coach Ben Hallett, I'm Don Clegg. Thanks for watching.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Ben Hallett. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.